Hi, I'm Gigi, an ex-Amazon bar raiser here at Day One Careers. Now before we get started on this video about Amazon interview top failure reasons, if you've already watched our video, Why Did I Fail My Amazon Interview? Then don't watch this one. I'll be honest, it is the same content, but repositioned and posted under different keywords, so it will be spotted by people who haven't had their interview yet. So, if you watch this one on Amazon interview top failure reasons, don't watch the other one. I am not trying to trick you. I just want to make sure that everyone who is looking for the information finds it. I know most of you will already know that Amazon doesn't give feedback, and that's super frustrating for candidates, obviously. Obviously, everyone's interview is unique, but based on thousands of hours of interviewing, I can tell you there are some definite common themes. The first reason I'll cover very briefly is if you just are not a functional fit. There are skills, knowledge, and experience that are required for every role, and maybe they've determined that through the process you just don't have at a high enough performance level the skills that they need. Now that's the obvious one, and one that I think we can all hold hands on and get pretty comfortable with. Now to the more peculiarly Amazon ones. I always struggle with that word. Firstly, lack of scope. So what do I mean by lack of scope? Well, in any role, we experience a range of different operational or functional aspects. For an example, my role at Amazon was as a senior manager in marketing. I managed budgets, did analysis, wrote business cases, hired people, coached team members, developed creative, solved problems, worked on customer experience, kind of UX design, input into product development, designed and redesigned processes, developed tools, and many more things. That was the scope of my role. Now, when interviewing candidates, Amazon is looking for evidence that the scope of their experiences matches the work that they'll face in the role at Amazon. So, if I interviewed for a role at Amazon where the scope was to manage budgets, do analysis, write business cases, hire people, coach team members, develop creative, solve problems, work on customer experience, UX design, thingies, input into product development, design and redesign processes, develop tools, blah, blah, blah. But the only examples I shared in the interview were around developing creative and, let's say, hiring people. Then my interviewers wouldn't have the evidence they need to be confident that I could cope with the scope of the role. The next one is lack of complexity. Well, what do I mean by lack of complexity? The higher the level of role you operate in, the greater complexity you'll inevitably have to deal with. For example, if we think about my scope as a senior manager in marketing, as we were just talking about, and particularly my reference to do analysis. Now, as I'm sure you'll appreciate, analysis could be relatively simple, or it could be highly complex. It could be complex intellectually, it could be complex operationally, like sourcing data, validating the quality of the data, getting cooperation from uncooperative team members, whatever. If I wanted to convince someone that I'm raising the bar at L7, then that piece of analysis that I talk about is going to need to be and come across as something really difficult and befitting someone operating at that level of the company. If it's the type of analysis that a manager would comfortably give to a person 1 or 2 levels down and have confidence that they'd be able to complete it, then it's not going to provide the evidence of an ability to manage complexity at the type of level that that role will have to deal with. The last one I'm going to cover here is impact, and I'll explain what I mean by impact. Impact is all about how you've moved the dial for your employer. Amazon is looking for people who are able to move their business materially forward. So they're looking for evidence that candidates have been able to do that in the past. This is a key pitfall for many candidates who fail to clearly articulate that they have had a materially positive impact in their previous role. This is where the all-important metrics or data comes in, because it's only really through some kind of empirical measure that Amazon can gauge if what you do drives material change. Now, the most important aspect here is to translate the significance of these metrics to your employer. So be clear, how did it compare to the norm? Kind of what was the growth rate? So they can really appreciate kind of the extraordinariness, is that a word? Okay, hopefully it is, of what you did. Now, if you ask any experienced Amazon interviewer, I am pretty confident that they will agree that these are the top reasons for failing an Amazon interview. But if you speak to someone credible and they tell you there are others, do please send them in my direction for a chat. I am always keen to improve accuracy. I hope you found that useful. Please do give the video a thumbs up and or comment below so that other candidates can find this video. Now, what you need to do is click the link here to claim your free Day One Careers Customer Obsession Taster course. Watch that and you'll nail every customer obsession question asked of you in your Amazon interview. Or if you want to do that a little bit later, why don't you check out more here of our incredible insights and advice on Amazon interview preparation.